All right, we should be good to go. We should be back in the building. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. Wow, we are back at it on this Tuesday morning, Taco Tuesday morning. And hopefully y'all are doing well. And welcome to another YouTube live stream. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassE Beats. By the way, the link is in the description and also in the pinned comment in the chat. Make sure y'all go and check out our brand new channel, Jury of Your Peers. We've got some amazing trials live streaming over there, so y'all don't want to miss out on that as well. Shout out to the gang, man. Let me say what's up to the amazing people who make this show the amazing place it is, and actually fix my chair because it's kind of low over there. There we go. We look looking good. As always, of course, I have to shout out first and foremost my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E in here doing what she does. Be amazing. Y'all make sure you go subscribe to Amy's channel. The link is in the description there as well. We got A-Fist is back at it. Mr. Brown, Taco Tuesday is in here. Good to see you. We got Jay Buckmaster, Virginia Wiley is here in here as well. Mary's in the building too. Shout out to the members gang, man. Members gang strong up in this thing. All right, good to see y'all, man. Shout out to Mary, says off to Denver tomorrow. Be safe. Lots of classy videos, safe for the road. I appreciate you watching as always. And thank you to everybody watching. I don't ask for much on this channel, but the number one thing I ask is that you all like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, and it shares the video, the channel, this live stream you're watching right now with more people. So thank you to the nearly 600 of you that have liked the video even before we get started. That's amazing. Where else are they doing that at? All right, thank y'all for the love so much. Thank you to everybody who's stopping by. If you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. All you have to do is click the share button. It's got an arrow curve pointing to the right. That's going to allow you not only to share the video to people on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, but you can also share the video via text message to your group chat or to someone who you think might enjoy the content. Also, last but not least, I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. This is going to be a quick show because we got some things going on this afternoon, but y'all know I couldn't miss, man. I couldn't miss showing love to the people. Y'all show up so consistently, so I appreciate it and happy to be here as well. We're going to go ahead and get right into the content. Again, if y'all could, please make sure you like the video on your way in. It's free. All right. And I think my camera got moved, but we going to figure it out as we get into our first topic, which is talking about what's going on in Minneapolis. We've been covering the situation with Renee Good, the situation with the person that was shot in California and had their eye blinded by ICE. Now we're going to get into what's going on with the mayor, what's going on with the governor of Minnesota, and we're going to hear from the police chief talking about all the movement that's been taking place in his city with ICE. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat.
By now, you have no doubt seen many of the scenes from Minneapolis. Immigration agents demanding proof of citizenship, even from some American citizens, protesters swarming as agents make arrests, the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE officer. This past week, we went to Minneapolis and spoke with two men at the center of the crisis, the chief of police and the head of ICE's deportation operation, both veteran law enforcement officers with two very different views of what is unfolding. Tonight, there were 3,000 ICE and Border Patrol agents in the Minneapolis area. That's nearly 5 times the number of police on the city's force, making it the largest ever deployment of federal immigration officers to an American city. 1 week after an ICE officer shot Renee Good, this was the scene on the streets of Minneapolis. Federal immigration agents facing off against angry protesters. It is exactly what Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara feared. He's been tasked with rebuilding trust between the community and police in the wake of George Floyd's murder nearly 6 years ago.
We're in this 2020 moment where all these tensions have been building. And I'm afraid we're going to have another moment where it all explodes.
And guys, let's be real. It's already happened. It's already happened in Minneapolis. We've seen stores broken into. We saw the hotel that ICE was allegedly staying at. It was vandalized by people who were protesting what happened to Renee Good. So again, 2020 is here.
Late Wednesday night, we witnessed the anger ourselves.
It's not a good place to be, bro. Get out of here!
Leave! Leave! Go home! Leave!
We are just hours after meeting with the police chief here in Minneapolis, where he told us that tensions were so high he was worried that violence would take place. Something else would happen in this community. You can hear flashbangs behind me. We are now just a few blocks away from where federal immigration agents have been involved in another shooting here in Minneapolis. ICE says one of its officers shot a Venezuelan man in the leg after he and 2 other migrants attacked the officer with a snow shovel and broom handle.
Crazy.
ICE says the 3 men are in the country illegally. The Trump administration says the goal is to crack down on illegal immigration and weed out fraud. They call it Operation Metro Surge. Elected officials in Minneapolis call it an occupation. Administration officials are adamant that this action that they are undertaking in Minneapolis right now is making this city safer.
Targeted, precise, pre-planned operations on violent offenders. That is a good thing. But I'm concerned that people in the administration don't actually understand the reality of what's happening on the street.
Well, the reality is, sir, the people are out of hand. You can't say ICE is doing a good thing, but at the same time say, hey, we're going to let people protest and the mayor's not backing it up. There needs to be something needs to be done.
Chief O'Hara told us the city's 911 system is overwhelmed by complaints about immigration enforcement. What are you seeing?
Seeing multiple calls of people who have been subjected to tear gas, pepper spray. At least one case, a person was removed from a vehicle and the car wasn't even placed in park and it was rolling down the roadway.
In an ideal world, it is a city on edge. And as we walked with the chief, we heard it from a man in a passing car.
How dare you let this happen here? You should be ashamed. You should be sick. Pig.
What do you want someone like that who just yelled at you and said you let this happen to know?
Well, I have been very publicly saying this has been a risk for several weeks, trying to get anyone in a position of authority to understand that tragedy was imminent.
The fatal shooting of Renee Good by ICE officer Jonathan Ross has become a kind of Rorschach test. Some see a senseless killing. Others see an officer defending his life.
I've seen the videos, and it's not clear to me why he appears to be in the path of the vehicle more than once. When you approach someone in a vehicle in a law enforcement encounter, there's very basic steps you take to ensure the officer's safety and to de-escalate the situation.
And again, we've had this conversation. I've been going back and forth with people in the comments of the videos where I've covered this. Just because something is justified doesn't mean it was necessary. In my opinion, what Jonathan Ross did, shooting at Renee Good, was justified. Was it necessary? I think that's the same thing that the police chief is saying here. I don't believe it was necessary. I think there were things he could have done to avoid that. It's unfortunate she lost her life, but you can also justify it and say that he was legally allowed to do that. He feared for his life. She drove the car towards him. You don't get to pick the consequences. So 2 things can be true. Unfortunate situation.
But the day after the shooting, Vice President J.D. Vance put the blame squarely on Renee Good.
That it's a tragedy of her own making.
Homeland Security officials have accused Good and her wife of, quote, stalking immigration agents and impeding their work.
Well,
Go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Top federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned in part, sources told CBS News, because they were told to investigate the actions of Renee Good and her wife rather than Officer Ross.
Well,
State investigators.
And again, the FBI was investigating into Jonathan Ross.
Investigators were blocked from the investigation altogether. Can Americans trust what's coming out about the status of this investigation right now?
The rhetoric that's coming out from a lot of our politicians is to not trust us, which is very odd to me when a lot of Americans would rather believe what they see on TikTok compared to a government agency.
We spoke to ICE's Marcos Charles, who oversees arrests and deportations nationwide, including Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis. Could you see why some Americans might think that what's happening on the streets of some of these cities leads them to see ICE as feeling emboldened right now?
I would tell those people or ask those people to become educated on what we do and how we do it and what our authorizations are and the laws in general.
And protest in a civil way. Don't be up in their face, yelling at them, calling them pigs, throwing stuff at them. Come on. It's not that complicated, guys.
Videos of confrontations between protesters and immigration
At all.
agents seem to go viral nearly every day.
They have a right to
Unfortunate.
observe, record, and object to police activity.
Do they have a
Exactly.
right to get in an agent's face and call them a Nazi?
People
No.
have a right to say disrespectful things. As a professional, I have an obligation not to take that personally and not to retaliate. However, they cannot physically obstruct law enforcement from performing a function. Those things are illegal.
This
It's simple, guys. Those things are illegal. They're breaking the law. And the crazy thing about this is not only are they breaking the law, they're breaking the law for what reason? For what reason? Again, I asked this in the chat. We had several people in the chat going off saying this about the Constitution, this about due process, and blah, 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 blah. What do you actually want? What do you guys want? What are you protecting? You heard from the ICE agent. We talked about this the other day. They're out there trying to arrest someone who's in the country illegally and is a child predator. What do y'all want? What's the problem with ICE? I'm still trying to figure it out. I haven't heard that answer from anyone. Not surprisingly so. The way they're conducting themselves in these protests, illegal, interfering with law enforcement, Renee Good. And what are they protecting? I don't get it, man. It makes no sense. It's sad. It's
past
sad, to
week,
be
the
honest.
Department of Homeland Security posted a message from White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller telling ICE agents you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. Does that mean that immigration agents can go into American cities and carry out immigration enforcement with no accountability, no consequences?
They have
I'm not going to
accountability.
comment on Mr. Miller's statement as far as in the context that you're asking. However, I will tell you that everywhere we go in the United States, our officers are out there conducting enforcement actions, and they're doing it lawfully and with professionalism.
But scenes like this in Minneapolis, where one officer drags a woman and another points his gun at bystanders, have raised questions about their conduct. No one has been disciplined in any of these actions?
No.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear you say that.
If you assault one of our officers, an assault would be putting hands on one of my officers, spitting in their face, pushing them. You're going to get
Well, it's
arrested.
battery.
I don't think most
I don't think spitting in their face is assault. That's more battery.
Americans
but either
would
way.
disagree with you on that. What concerns a lot of people is some of the images that they've seen. There's a perception out there that immigration agents in Minneapolis and many other cities are acting with impunity.
You're not seeing the entirety of the situation. Not only that, mainstream media is picking up those social media posts and putting them out as real news without looking at the whole story.
We did
Yeah, I think I'm gonna find the ICE agent and get him on the get him on the channel, because I think a lot of this story is one-sided. It's great to see the police chief saying, "Hey, I get there to do a job. People need to let them do their job." Finally, someone saying this, but at the same time, ICE isn't moving and conducting themselves the way they should be, and I agree with that. I think there's a lot more restraint that ICE could show in a lot of these situations, but you have to give accountability on the other side as well. Say, hey, people, you shouldn't be up in their face, spitting at them, throwing snowballs at them. Come on. So if y'all know any ICE agents out there watching this, listen, I support and appreciate what y'all are doing. Send me an email, drop something in the comments, come on up to the channel so we can hear the other side, because for some reason, mainstream media, as was just said by the police chief and by ICE themselves, they're not covering that side of it. And there's a reason for that. We won't get into it too much, but I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. It's crazy, man. Hey, shout out to y'all. And I get it. There's more. There's better ways ICE could be conducting themselves. I won't disagree with that. But I mean, it's clear, very clear, that a lot of the way these protests are being handled are breaking the law. And the police chief of Minneapolis just said that if you're impeding with this law enforcement and you're interfering with law enforcement, it's illegal. Stop. Illegal immigrants don't have the same rights like citizens. They aren't protected by the Constitution. Some people don't believe that. I'm not going to get to that whole thing. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Noah, good to see you. Good afternoon. Everyone is online. Yes, we are. That's a good idea. You should interview an ICE agent. I'm sure they've got stories upon stories upon stories. I just don't like that ICE agents have their faces covered Why are you hiding? That's a good question. And that would be something that would be great to ask a ICE agent. Maybe they're covering, certain people are covering it to protect their identity. Obviously, they're covering it because they don't want people posting their stuff on the internet so they don't get harassed. Like, we'll have to cover that story tomorrow, but there's a lady who was saying, hey, Jonathan Ross and his family live in my neighborhood. I'll tell you guys where my neighborhood is. That lady has since been arrested for doing something dumb. But yeah, there could be a lot of reasons, and especially with the way things are right now. In some ways, I do not blame them. But let's go ahead and get into our next topic. We've actually got a new trial I want to talk to you guys about, and shout out to Amy for sending this over just to see what you guys think about this. And this might be something that we cover the whole way. It's a very interesting story just because the situation's weird with this guy. Well, I won't talk. We'll get into it. We'll get into it here. Shout out to Mr. Brown. Good to see you in here as always. So we've got a new trial watch we're going to be looking into and covering. And shout out to Amy for putting me onto this. She also posted about it on X. If you don't follow Amy on X, make sure you do at IAMYLEIGH on X. That's Amy Lee on X. And gives an overview of this Brendan Banfield au pair situation. It's absolutely crazy. It's a murder for hire case. Yes. And there was a foreign exchange student that was living with Brendan and his wife. We're going to get into the whole story here. Amy actually breaks it down very well on X, and then we'll get to a video that gives a little bit of background of the case and where the case is at now. Check this out. The au pair affair murder trial, Virginia versus Brendan Banfield, is at a critical phase today on Tuesday. This trial is taking place in Fairfax County Circuit Court in Virginia. Brendan Banfield is accused of murdering his wife, Christine, and another man, Joseph Ryan, in 2023. With the help of the family's au pair and his alleged lover, Juliana Perez. Trial update and what to expect today. Here we go. The star witness, Juliana Perez, has already took the stand last week, and we're going to get into that in the next video. She has pleaded guilty to manslaughter and is testifying against her lover, Mr. Banfield, in exchange for a lighter sentence. Hope it was worth it, man. The prosecutors argue that Banfield and Perez created a fake account on a fetish website to lure Joseph Ryan to the home so they could murder him and frame him for the murder of Banfield's wife. This gets wild. The defense's counter. Banfield's lawyers are focusing on the credibility of the au pair and pointing to digital forensic evidence that suggests Christine Banfield, the wife, may have been the one communicating with Ryan, not a catfish. Interesting. Okay, so now that they're in court today, the au pair's testimony was concluded, and the prosecution is calling forensic experts and investigators to corroborate her timeline, specifically focusing on surveillance footage and DNA found on the murder weapon. So now let's get into a little bit of a background and see what the au pair, Ms. Perez, had to say about her former lover. Wild.
Did he tell you what he wanted to do?
Yes.
Dang.
What did he say?
He mentioned his plan to get rid of her.
She's the Brazilian au pair allegedly swept up in a shocking double murder case in Virginia.
Wow.
As soon as I felt blood, I just removed my hand from the carpet.
Why? What did the blood feel like?
It was warm.
Getting emotional as she
Jeez.
took the stand as the prosecution's star witness in the first day of a highly anticipated trial.
What did you see Brendan do next?
He got on top of her, and that's when I first saw him stab her with a knife.
Juliana Perez Magalhães pled guilty in 2024 to manslaughter charges, agreeing to cooperate with police. And now she's testifying against her alleged lover, the father of the family she worked for, as he stands trial for murdering his wife, Christine, and another man.
She didn't even she didn't even fight. She just said, all right, you guys got me. I'll give him up. That's crazy.
Because Brendan Banfield killed his wife, Christine Banfield, and another man named Joseph Ryan.
Prosecutors opening up by detailing how an affair and an online fetish website descended into murder.
The blood cannot lie, and the blood puts Brendan Banfield standing over Christine, stabbing her in the neck until she died.
Dang.
Prosecutors say the alleged murders were part of an elaborate catfishing scheme that also involved luring an innocent man, Joseph Ryan, to his death.
That's
By
insane.
January 24th, 2022, Brendan had found his target, Joseph Ryan. Joe engaged in friendly conversation with who he thought was an attractive woman, posing as Christine.
Brendan Banfield's defense arguing that the au pair only flipped against Banfield after prosecutors promised her a sweet deal.
The Commonwealth used her for their case. I understand the situation that she's in, and I understand the fact that she's away from home and she's young and she's dependent on people, and she's also depending on the Commonwealth. And they've put her in this situation.
That's fair.
The defense really got into this plea negotiation for her.
Oh, not Brian. Oh my gosh.
Banfield was arrested. Juliana was being pressured to say one thing or another.
40-year-old Banfield visibly emotional as the 911 call from the day of the murders was played in court.
My name is Brendan Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
Who is the shooter? Who shot who?
It was a shocking double murder rattling this quiet, affluent community in suburban Virginia.
We're getting the ambulance here now.
My whole skin is downstairs.
Okay.
As details emerged from this
This
case,
is wild.
it became more and more shocking.
In February 2023, Christine Banfield, a young mother, was stabbed to death in her bedroom. Another.
And I know y'all heard him say he was a federal agent. Brendan actually worked for the IRS. He was a part of their criminal investigation division.
Man who was not her husband was found alongside her, shot in the head, all while the family's young daughter was in the home's basement.
I need to talk to her.
The scene captured on police body camera footage.
There are no words to describe the horror, the sadness.
Months
Just
later,
divorce her,
police
dude.
arresting the family's Brazilian au pair, charging her with second-degree murder.
Where is Brendan? Where's that?
ALT.
Then, almost a year after the au pair's arrest, Christine's husband, Brendan Banfield, was also indicted and taken into custody, where he pled not guilty.
Come on, man.
Involvement?
In 2022, Magalese was first hired by the Banfield family to care for their 4-year-old daughter. Soon after, she allegedly began a romantic relationship with Brendan Banfield. Banfield was an agent for the criminal division of the IRS.
There you go.
We know Brendan Banfield and Juliana Margalis, the family au pair, were involved in a romantic relationship at the time of the murders.
Prosecutors say months after the affair began, Banfield began plotting to kill his wife Christine, claiming he did not want a divorce and/or shared custody. Court documents stating Brendan Banfield expressed to Perez Magalese his desire to be rid of his wife, and soon thereafter began planning to kill his wife.
Good
He
Lord.
then pulls in Juliana, according to prosecutors, and that's when they begin to concoct this plan to kill his wife and a complete stranger. Law enforcement says there's a lot that went into this planning, that Brendan took Juliana to purchase a gun and then to a firing range to practice using that gun.
Back in court today, prosecutors painting a picture of Banfield as a mastermind, posing as his wife on a sexual fetish website to frame the man, Joseph Ryan, to come to the house to fulfill a twisted sexual fantasy. Prosecutors alleging that Banfield told Ryan that his wife desperately wanted to be raped.
Joe was to bring a knife,
Wow.
zip ties, chains. And most importantly, he was not to stop. Even if she looked terrified, even if she was calling for help, he was to follow through because that's what she really wanted.
Court documents stating that the two lured victim Joseph Ryan, and Ryan likely believed that he was meeting Christine Banfield to have a consensual sexual encounter. Once he arrived, Banfield allegedly shot him in the head before stabbing his wife to death.
Good Lord.
On the morning of the murders, police responding to the 911 call came across an appalling scene.
The original story is sometimes extremely helpful. What ends up being the inconsistencies in their stories as to what actually happened at this scene. It's all really important to capture.
Initially, Magalese told police an intruder stabbed Christine multiple times.
She lied.
Banfield shot him in an attempt to save his wife's life.
He started stabbing her. I think Brendan shot him, and he asked me help to shot him too because...
It's okay. You don't have to get it all out right now.
I never saw
breathe.
that before. It's a lot of blood.
I would hope not.
I think they suspected there was not something right about the story, but you just couldn't put your finger on it.
In the months following the murders, Magalese and Banfield allegedly lived as a couple. This photo of the au pair in Banfield found on the bedside table in the master bedroom.
That should, in effect, set off about 300 bells in your head that this is clearly not what they painted it to be. This is something else.
In an exclusive interview with WUSA 9, Joseph Ryan's mother telling the station the open conversation she had with her son about BDSM and role-playing with knives.
Joe and I had discussed the idea of cutting and knife play. Joe was not into knife like cutting. He didn't like to create blood.
Banfield's trial is expected to last several weeks.
With Virginia having no death penalty, if convicted, Brendan Banfield could be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
As for Magalese, she'll be sentenced once Banfield's trial ends and could get as little as time served.
After the first day of opening statements and witness testimony, the major question as to whether or not Brendan Banfield will take the stand himself in a trial that's expected to last weeks.
Man, if this guy takes the stand, this will be interesting to see. I want to know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Let me know if we should follow the rest of this trial. We're actually going to get into what went down the first week of trial in the next video, so y'all can jump over there and let me know what you think. Shout out to the gang. We're going to keep it moving right into the next one. This thing is crazy. Imagine, why not just get married? Do you not want to share custody that bad? Or why not just get divorced? Excuse me. Just get divorced. And then you can be with your au pair. Yeah. Killed 2 people? Oh, man. All right, let's get into this next segment. Thank y'all for being here. And thank you to everybody who's liked the video too. Guys, likes are free. Go ahead, hit the like button. It won't hurt, I promise. It takes less than a second. All right. So now that we've gotten through some of the introduction on what's going on with this murder for hire Brendan Banfield trial, we're going to look at what happened during the first week of testimony. And of course, during the first week, the actual au pair, Miss Perez, she actually testified against Brendan to somewhat get a better deal with the DA's office. And that's going to be used against the prosecution throughout a lot of this trial. But let's go ahead and check this video out and see what is happening in this case, because it's absolutely insane.
The shooter. Who shot who?
The gruesome double murder.
Can you come down with me? Anybody say blow? Okay, she's breathing. She's got a lot of stamina.
A seemingly stunned au pair walking out of the crime scene.
We're getting the ambulance here now. Okay.
Telling police an intruder had come in with a knife and stabbed the homeowner's wife as her husband tried to save her.
They set him up.
He started stabbing her. I think Brendan shot him, and he asked me help to shot him too because...
It's okay.
I've never seen anything like that before.
I never saw that before. It's a lot of blood.
Okay.
Now, stunning details of a brazen affair and an elaborate murder scheme playing out in a Virginia courtroom as the husband, Brendan Banfield, stands trial for multiple counts of aggravated murder.
While you were working for the Banfield family, did your relationship with the defendant change?
Yes.
How did it change?
It became sexual, physical relationship.
Bombshell testimony from the au pair, Juliana Perez Magalese,
She
who
pled
says
guilty
she
to
helped
manslaughter, by
Banfield
the way.
kill his wife so that they could be together. The 25-year-old escorted in handcuffs for 2 days of testimony against her former lover.
Did he tell you what he wanted to do?
Yes.
What did he say?
He mentioned his plan to get rid of her.
Magalese took a plea deal for manslaughter charges, becoming the prosecution's star witness.
He got on top of her, and that's when I first saw him.
These witnesses are great for the prosecution in some sense, but it's tough for the jury because you see what happened here. Someone who was allegedly involved in this crime saying what they have to say to get a lesser deal, because they don't want to go through the actual process of getting into court and going through a trial. So again, I think and believe a jury is going to see this for what it is. How they take that, we would have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all would think if you heard a testimony from the co-conspirator, technically.
Stabbed her with a knife.
Prosecutors say months after the affair began, Banfield, a former investigator at the IRS, started plotting to kill his wife, claiming he didn't want a divorce or shared custody.
According to prosecutors, Banfield pulls Juliana, the family au pair, into this scheme by purchasing a firearm, taking her to a shooting range to practice, also by buying soundproof windows and installing them into the home, as well as this whole scheme of creating a catfish.
Prosecutors say Banfield was posing as his wife on a sexual fetish website to lure a man, Joseph Ryan, to come to the house and fulfill a twisted rape fantasy.
Brendan created a FetLife account. If you're not familiar with it, it's a social networking app for people interested in fetishes.
I've never ever heard it. That's crazy.
He posted as Christine. Joe was to bring a knife, zip ties, chains. And most importantly, he was not to stop. Even if she looked terrified, even if she was calling for help, he was to follow through because that's what she really wanted.
Once he arrived, Banfield allegedly shot him in the head before stabbing his wife to death.
Jeez.
Where in her body was he stabbing her?
He must have hated her.
Her neck.
How do you do that to
After
somebody?
times I looked, and I was able to see him stabbing her.
On cross-examination, Banfield's defense trying to poke holes in the au pair's credibility.
With all due respect, you don't remember a lot of details.
Yeah.
And that's what's really concerning about this.
Well, if you were in my shoes, you don't remember either. You know, your brain has a way to, a defense mechanism it's called, and it protects you from losing your mind, losing yourself.
The defense's strategy is to make her look like an unreliable witness in any way. Either that she doesn't know the details of the actual alleged crimes.
I do not recall if it was me or him.
Or that her recollection seems to be all over the place.
Just because I remembered something at the time where we had the interview, it doesn't mean I'm remembering the same things right now.
Suggesting that she's making up the story, not telling a factual story.
The defense questioning her for hours about whether she wrote some of the incriminating messages to lure Joseph Ryan to the house.
Sir, with all due respect here, I said those things are all very familiar words. I might say it's me, or I might say it's Brendan, and if I'm not sure, what am I doing? I'm guessing, and I'm not doing this.
So you're
She says she's not
answer
guessing.
my questions about specific pieces of evidence that I'm showing you.
Objection, asked and answered. Objection, argumentative.
I think she says she's not going to do this.
The defense then questioning Margulies about letters she wrote to Banfield's mother from prison before taking the plea deal, professing her love for him and seeming to take accountability for the murders.
Oh, that's not good.
For his, and I would never do anything to hurt him or against him. Whatever they're saying, whatever they want to believe.
She's probably feeling guilty.
I would take the blame for both of us.
Then in messages after the plea deal, telling her mother she was in negotiations with Netflix.
So they were thinking about $10,000 helps and it's good, but I want to negotiate. I want more than this because if I sign the contract, I end up losing other opportunities to make more money. We have to think, I know I can make even more than $25,000.
I think your last words were, "Wow, we do deserve something."
Who's we?
Is that right? You were charged with murder because you shot someone. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
And so why would you deserve something because of that?
Not because of that. I'm saying for after, when this is over, for me and my family. And again, for everything we've been through.
What she'd been through was the story that captured the nation's attention in 2023.
There are no words to describe the horror, the sadness.
Yes, definitely crazy.
Who shot who?
A double murder in an affluent Virginia suburb just 15 miles outside of D.C. And in another twist, the young nanny moving into the primary bedroom where the wife had been killed, living as a couple with Banfield, according to prosecutors.
They had gotten new flooring, new bedroom furniture, and pictures that had once featured Brendan and Christine had been taken down and replaced with Brendan and Juliana together.
Oh,
Prosecutors
come on,
also
bruh.
highlighting different
Really?
blood evidence.
Dang, so not only did he brutally kill his wife, allegedly, but then he replaced her pictures with ones of him. This is
Found
bad.
on Banfield's items.
Bad.
What did you observe about these pants?
That they had blood stains on them. There was the blood stains on the knee area. Most of the stains that you saw on the pants were like almost like smears, smudges, like they came in contact with blood. This was droplets. There was staining on the shoes, on the tops, but there's also staining on the bottom and into the treads.
When they look at the droplets found on Brendan's pants, they say that shows he must have been in close proximity to Christine, his wife, when she was brutally stabbed. That doesn't align with his story that Joseph Ryan committed this brutal stabbing and not him. The defense hasn't pointed to a theory as to what the smearing or blood droplets actually mean in this case, and they might not ever, because ultimately it's not the defense's burden to put evidence forward, only to show that the prosecution hasn't made out their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
The prosecution will continue its case next week.
With Virginia having no death penalty, if Brendan
Case
Banfield is
closed.
found guilty,
Yeah.
he'd be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
As for Margulies, she'll be sentenced once Banfield's trial ends and could get as little as time served, according to attorneys.
Wow, so she's allegedly not going to get any time in jail. This case is crazy. I wanted to get into opening statements. We'll get into that in the next video. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Should we cover this all the way through? I know some of you are already saying this case is closed on this one. Not looking great for Brendan. Sheesh. Shout out to the gang, man. So good to see all of y'all in here. Thank you to Mr. Brown showing major love, not only to the show, but to Amy E as well. He dropped the 40 bomb and said, for Amy E. Thank you, Mr. Brown. And then right after that, he dropped another 25. No question. Not even a comment. Just showing absolutely love, man. Thank you for the love, Mr. Brown. I appreciate it. Yeah, this trial is insane. And we might be able to get to, let me see. We might be able to get to opening statements from the defense. Let me see. Let me see if we can get to opening statements for the defense. Do y'all want to get into that? We should be able to get into, actually, I might save that for tomorrow. So do me a favor, everybody who's in here, if y'all could, please let me know if you want to cover that trial and we can see it all the way through to the end. They're only a couple of days in, so we should be able to catch up and focus on most of the important and interesting testimony. So we'll get to it as well. Thank y'all for the love. Shout out to Mr. Brown being the major sponsor of today's show. I know it was a quick one, but I'll make it up to you guys tomorrow. We'll get started a little bit earlier, so that way, if y'all are feeling it, we can cover some of this Brendan Banfield trial, which is wild. I appreciate y'all. Hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace. Thanks for the love, Mr. Brown. I appreciate you.